All right, welcome to the Carl Jackson Show, your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion and lies. So much to get to, but I think I want to start here. Bill Maher meets Trump. Now, I know you guys have heard about this. You heard about the meeting with Bill Maher and Trump at the White House. And guys, frankly, with all of the violence that we're seeing across the country with these Democrats, I'm not even calling radical, not even calling them radicals, because apparently radicals have taken over the Democrat Party when it comes to Bernie Sanders and AOC. They're out there throwing rallies all across the country. I think what we're seeing is the norm, but there's a solution to the norm, and it's to treat people like regular people, get to know people despite having your differences. That happened over the weekend with Bill Maher as he met President Donald Trump. Actually, I believe it was more than actually. I think it was nearly a couple of weeks ago now. But anyway, here's what he had to say about that. I want to play video clip number one here, Gabe. This is Bill Maher explaining his experience to his audience this past Friday night. So, yeah, it happened a week or so before that, explaining his experience with President Donald Trump at the White House. Let's roll it. Clip number one, please.
At one point, we were walking through it is an amazing tour of the whole house. And I don't remember exactly what we were talking about, but it must have been something with the 2020 election, because I know he used the word lost. And I distinctly remember saying, wow, I never thought I'd hear you say that. He didn't get mad. He's much more self-aware than he lets on in public. Look, I get it. It doesn't matter who he is at a private dinner with a comedian. It matters who he is on the world stage. I'm just taking as a positive that this person exists, because everything I've ever not liked about him was, I swear to God, absent, at least on this night with this guy. Bob, Kid Rock, told me the night before, he said, if you want to get a word in edgewise, you're going to have to cut him off. He'll just go on. Not at all. I've had so many conversations with prominent people who are much less connected, people who don't look you in the eye, people who don't really listen because they just want to get to their next thing, people whose response to things you say just doesn't track, like, what? None of that with him. And he mostly steered the conversation to, what do you think about this? I know, your mind is blown, so's mine.
Guys, listen, I don't agree with Bill Maher politically, and I suspect if you're listening to this podcast, neither do you. But the truth of the matter is, I'm okay with liberals. I'm okay with disagreement. I'm okay with dissent. What I'm not okay with is violence. What I'm not okay with is censorship. And frankly, Bill Maher, and I think Bill Maher came around a little late. But if I'm being honest, I see the same thing happening with what's his name that's contemplating from ESPN. Oh man, Stephen A. Smith. And I love Stephen A. Smith, but I think both of them came about when it was a little safer. But still, I guess they're doing the hard thing when you consider how far left the left is, and they're doubling down on stupid. They really are. This is a party that has they have no identity except to be in opposition. It's almost as if they're still trying to do opposition research against President Trump, despite the fact that he's already won the election. But if you want to end the violence that we're seeing, it's going to take liberals like Bill Maher. And so I do give them credit now. All right. I want to make sure that even though I'm like, it's a little late, but at the same token, if you're on the left, you still have to be brave to come out and say what isn't normal. And it seems like Bill Maher has been growing in this evolution of like, okay, I'm a liberal, you know what I mean? But I don't have to hate the other guy. I can hate his policies. Almost like, listen, you can hate the sin, but don't hate the sinner. And I think that's what's happening with Bill Maher. Think about this. Everything that the left has been told for years has been a lie. Has been an absolute lie. They have to brainwash new people, if you will, over and over and over again. Hence, this is what's going on these college university campuses. But these people, if we don't have more Bill Mahers that are willing to stand up and speak the truth and say, whoa, wait a minute. This guy isn't actually, he's not as bad as we think. Then, guys, what this is going to end up with is more violence. We're going to see more and more violence. Hat tip, CNN .com. I know you guys can't believe that I read CNN, but actually their articles sometimes are pretty good. They'll throw in some left-wing slant in there, but that's okay. It's okay. I don't have to like them, but sometimes they have good information, and I want to share a bit with you. A 17-year-old in Wisconsin allegedly killed his parents as part of a plot to assassinate Trump. Yes, another one. Now, thank God he didn't get close to the president, but unfortunately, he offed his parents. A Wisconsin teenager allegedly killed his parents as part of a plot to assassinate President Donald Trump. Federal authorities said in a newly unsealed court documents. Nikita Kasap, C-A-S-A-P, only 17 years old, called for the assassination of Trump and the overthrow of the U.S. government in written documents and text messages found by investigators. This, according to a federal affidavit obtained by CNN affiliate WISN. The alleged killing of his parents appeared to be an effort to attain the financial means and autonomy to carry out his plan, according to investigators. In Wisconsin, the teen faces 9 felony charges. This includes 2 counts of his first-degree murder and 2 counts of hiding a corpse, according to online court records in Waukesha County. All right, federal investigators, meanwhile, are pursuing 3 charges: presidential assassination, conspiracy, use of weapons of mass destructions. This also, according to an affidavit, which was written by an FBI agent in support of the application for a search warrant. CNN reached out to Kasap's attorneys for comment. They got no response, or he has not entered pleas on any of the state charges yet, according to county records. Police believe that the suspect's mother, Tatiana Kasap, and his stepfather, Donald Maher, were killed on February 11th. This, according to the county, Waukesha County. Both were found dead from gunshot wounds more than 2 weeks later, on February 28th, when the Waukesha County Sheriff's deputies performed a welfare check at his family's home. The suspect was not at home, and authorities listed Mayor's SUV as stolen. That's the stepfather. That evening, officers with the Wakini Police Department in Kansas performed a traffic stop on the vehicle and found the suspect driving. The complaint says in the vehicle, authorities found $14,000 in $100 bills, more than $14,000 worth of jewelry, .357 Magnum revolver purchased by Maher. I've heard all types of stories about this kid over the weekend. I don't know what's true, so we'll have to wait it out and find out what's true. Wait and see what's true. I've heard that he was part of a cult. I've heard that he was part of a Nazi, some Nazi organization. I don't know what's true. All right, but obviously we're going to find out more as time goes. Oh, here it is. The document, a 3-page document the FBI found, called for Trump's assassination to create a political revolution in the U.S. and save the white race. Huh? As to why specifically Trump, I think it's pretty obvious. By getting rid of the president and perhaps the vice president, that is guaranteed to bring in some chaos. One excerpt from the document said this, according to the affidavit. The document also contained images of Adolf Hitler, along with the text, "Hail Hitler, hail the white race, hail victory." Man, so he wanted to kill the Nazi Trump, huh? The FBI additionally found an image and messages on his phone with information on how to use a drone as an attack drone. Per the affidavit, he paid at least in part for a drone and explosives to commit an attack, according to investigators. They had also found photos of the front and back of Mayor's credit and debit cards and the username and password of a bank account. The 17-year-old's classmate told the sheriff's office in March that Kasap had told him he planned to kill his parents but did not have access to a gun, according to the affidavit. I hope they bring in that kid for questioning. Kasap later told the classmate that he would befriend someone who had a gun and steal it. The court document also said Kasap told his classmate that he was in contact with someone in Russia and they were planning on overthrowing the U.S. government and assassinating Trump. This, according to the Waukesha County complaint. Detectives found messages indicating Kasap planned to leave the U.S. for Ukraine. In one telegram message, he asked, "So while in Ukraine," I'm quoting here, "I'll be able to live a normal life, even when it's found out I did it," close quote. Kasap is scheduled to appear for arraignment on May 7th. Okay, so I don't know. This kid is a Nazi. It may be. Obviously, by notes like that, "Hail Hitler, hail Hitler, hail Hitler," it would make you expect or make you suspect that he is. But what would bring a kid 17 years old to this level of violence? And I would suggest to you, I think it's the vitriol that is still found out in the ether by the left. The left out there talking about Elon Musk and calling him a evil billionaire and all this kind of stuff. It's absolutely insane. It's absolute nonsense. And the left has nothing but to double down on this anger. That's all they've got. They have absolutely no solutions. They've been co-opted by the left. The Democrat Party has. Chuck D. Schumer is capitulating even more so to the left because he's scared that AOC is going to take his seat as senator. I mean, the guy can retire and go out into, living the rest of his life. Lord knows he has plenty of money after he skimmed off the federal government, I'm sure. But the bottom line is, for whatever reason, they love the power, they love the perks, they love the sense of superiority that they get, I guess, being in Washington, D.C. So he doesn't want to go anywhere. He's trying to protect his status, all the while destroying the Democrat Party and destroying the nation. Guys, you're listening to the Carl Jackson Show. Stay tuned. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back for more. All right, guys, thank you for joining me on the Carl Jackson Show. I just want to remind you to please be sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you go to get your podcast. We're on Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube, and Rumble. Also, Salem Podcast Network. The Carl Jackson Show is where you can go to find me. I would certainly appreciate that. I do want to tell you guys briefly about one of our sponsors here, Fast Growing Trees. As I take a swig here, and I put on my glasses because it's really hard to read an app on my phone. All right, so guys, let me talk to you about Fast Growing Trees. And I'm starting to see more ads on television about this, but did you know that Fast Growing Trees is the biggest online nursery in the U.S. with thousands of different plants and over 2 million happy customers? They have all the plants your yard needs, like fruit trees, and they also have privacy trees. They have flowering trees, shrubs, and so much more. Whatever plants you're interested in, Fast Growing Trees has you covered. Find the perfect fit for your climate and space. That's so important. You can look online to do that. If there's a particular area of your yard that you want to put a particular plant or tree, this is the place to do it. Fast Growing Trees makes it easy to get your dream yard, order online, and get your plants delivered directly to your door in just a few days without ever leaving the home. They're alive and they thrive. Their Alive and Thrive guarantee ensures your plants arrive happy and healthy. Plus, you get support from trained plant experts that are on call to help you plan your landscape. You can choose the right plants and learn how to care for them. All right. So this is very, very cool. So fastgrowingtrees.com is where you want to go to purchase your trees. Also, this spring, they have the best deals for your yard, up to half off on select plants and other deals. And listeners to our show get 15% off their first purchase when using the code Carl at checkout. That's CARL. That's an additional 15% off at fastgrowingtrees.com using the code Carl at checkout. Fastgrowingtrees.com using the promo code Carl. Now, that's the perfect time to plant. Use Carl to save today. Offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions may apply. All right. I love that, guys. I'm into landscaping. Obviously, I have a landscape service business. I think this makes it incredibly easy for you to do a lot of this work yourself. You cut out the middleman, which am I shooting myself in the foot? Listen, it's a great product for you. Fastgrowingtrees.com. Okay, let's get right back to the program. All right, guys. So listen, we're talking about what is the antidote to the violence that we're seeing out there from the left. The antidote is more liberals like Bill Maher to step up. It really is. I can appreciate the Stephen A. Smiths, the Bill Mahers of the world, even though they're a little late to the party, because honestly, they're giving liberals, not leftists, but they're giving liberals permission to be nonviolent. Otherwise, what you're going to see is you're going to see more people like this 17-year-old. What about that Matthew Crooks? Remember that guy? Remember that guy in Butler County, Pennsylvania, that tried to assassinate Trump, that shot his face, shot a piece of his ear off, and we've heard nothing about him. I mean, we've hardly learned anything about the guy. We still don't know why the Secret Service were so just whack that day, underperformed. We don't know what happened. The guy's body was pretty much immediately cremated. It's absolutely insane. And then you got Ryan Ryan Routh or Ruth or whatever his name is, had dozens. If I no, I'm sorry, 6 different cell phones. I believe that's correct. We don't know who he was communicating with. We don't know how he was able to get so close as to build a bird's nest in a place where the president was going golfing. Maybe it was a good guess that he realized Trump was going to be there that day, or maybe there was a bit of inside information. I don't know. But what I do know is that the left is a very dangerous party. Very dangerous party. I got to get to Governor Josh Shapiro here shortly, but we've already talked about the 17-year-old. Thank God again for Bill Maher coming out and saying what he had to say, because that's so crucial. We got to get back to the point where we're talking about policies. If we disagree on when it comes to the rule of law, all right, we can have debates on law. We can have debates on life, pro abortion, or whatever. We can have those debates. Free speech. What's free speech? What's not? Are we going too far on some of these college campuses? I don't believe so. When it comes to the Mahmoud Khalil, which, by the way, the White House has gotten the okay to send his butt a packing. I know there's some concern about free speech. I completely get that. I think you have to take free speech extremely seriously. And I do believe, listen, even though I don't like it, people can be anti Semitic, they can be bigots, they can be, anti black, they can be racist against blacks. But what they can't do is help out a terrorist organization and propagandize for a terrorist organization, especially when we find out there's some connections there. So I think we got to go a little deeper. Anyway, he can be sent back home, and I say adios. You're going there and you're intimidating Jews and all this kind of. I say adios. We don't have the tolerance for this nonsense. But the left has become a very violent party. Hat tip: Epic Times: arrest made in the suspected arson fire on Pennsylvania Governor Shapiro's home. All right, so police have a person in custody after the suspected arson fire at the Pennsylvania governor's mansion. I mean, this is absolutely insane. Do we have video of that, Gabe? I didn't even go down the list and check and see, but I'm sure we do. But it's just absolutely insane. Listen, now, obviously, I'm just speculating here, but I would suspect that this has something to do with anti-Semitism. Oh, Carl, of course you would say that. Well, why wouldn't I say that? I mean, why wouldn't I say that? Let's be honest. Who are the most persecuted people right here in the United States besides, let me throw this in there, besides minorities that are living in blue areas or blue districts, blue urban neighborhoods where George Soros state's attorneys are running the show. There's a lot of black on black, Latino on Latino, minority on minority crimes happening in those areas where it's blue, but we don't hear tons about that. But I got to tell you, in general, you see these people, the Jews are, it seem to me, to be the most persecuted people within the United States of America. And that's not to say that all Jews are good. Nobody, no race, ethnicity, no one is all good. But it's clear to me that these people are clearly the most persecuted, which frankly gives me more faith in what I believe as a Christian, that Jesus Christ is the Messiah as we head for Resurrection Sunday, coming up pretty quickly here. All right. So, I mean, it's just absolutely astonishing to me. I'm circling through. I'm trying to find and see if we have video here of Bukele. Democratic Party continues to lose ground, cares more for needs of people like you. Man, Democrats are just still not doing that good. Where is it? I'm sorry. I'm sitting here scrolling live. Perhaps I shouldn't. Okay. All right. I'll look through that a little later. Okay. I'll look through that a little later. All right. But Josh Shapiro's home the mansion was set on fire. Again, police have a person in custody. So Shapiro's mansion, that was on Saturday evening, I believe. That prompted the governor and his family to be evacuated from the mansion. Pennsylvania State Police Colonel Christopher Paris identified the man in custody as 38-year-old Cody Balmer of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. He emphasized at a Saturday afternoon news conference that the investigation is ongoing. These are the likely charges. If these charges stick, and if this man is convicted of these charges, he isn't going anywhere for probably ever frankly, attempted murder, terrorism, attempted arson, and aggravated assault. That is going to be a lengthy sentence. But here's something that's a little creepy. Listen to this. Authorities said the suspect hopped over a fence surrounding the property and forcibly entered the residence before setting it on fire. Can I read that to you again? Authorities said the suspect hopped over a fence surrounding the property and forcibly entered the residence before setting it on fire. He hopped a fence? He forcibly entered the residence? He had time to set the residence on fire? Where the dude doesn't have security? Governor Josh Shapiro doesn't have security? I don't know. This is weird. Last night at about 2 p.m., 2 a.m., this is Governor Josh Shapiro. My family and I woke up to the bangs on the door from the Pennsylvania State Police after an arsonist set fire to the governor's residence in Harrisburg. Firemen put out the fire, and then the governor was evacuated by state police. He says, "Thank God, no one was injured, and the fire was extinguished." Every day, he says, we stand with the law enforcement and first responders who run towards danger to protect our communities. Shapiro did not provide details about the incident, but said that he and his wife are eternally grateful. Now, there was video. I was hoping that we had the video. Apparently, we do not. Oh, yes, we do. This is cut number 16. Actually, let's go to that. I want you guys to hear what Governor Josh Shapiro had to say, and then we'll finish up with this. Cut number 16, please, Gabe.
Lori and I are overwhelmed by the prayers and the messages of support that we've received from all across Pennsylvania and all across the United States. We've heard from our fellow governors and first spouses. We've heard from several of the former governors of Pennsylvania. We've heard from so many friends and loved ones. And we've heard from so many caring citizens of this great Commonwealth. I want you all to know that your prayers lift us up. And in this moment of darkness, we are choosing to see light. And we appreciate the light that you have shined upon us. Pennsylvania State Police, led by Colonel Christopher Parris, will brief on the specifics of what transpired. But we do know that this attack was targeted. We don't know the person's specific motive yet, but we do know a few truths. First, this type of violence is not okay. This kind of violence is becoming far too common in our society. And I don't give a damn if it's coming from one particular side or the other, directed at one particular party or another, or one particular person or another. It is not okay. And it has to stop. We have to be better than this. And we have a responsibility to all be better. Second, if this individual was trying to deter me from doing my job as your governor, rest assured I will find a way to work even harder than I was just yesterday for the good people of Pennsylvania. Here's a third truth. If he was trying to terrorize our family, our friends, the Jewish community who joined us for a Passover Seder in that room last night, hear me on this. We celebrated our faith last night proudly, and in a few hours we will celebrate our second Seder of Passover again.
Let's cut
proudly.
this. We'll ramp this up on the other side. I got to take a break momentarily. You are listening to the Carl Jackson Show, but he said something, and I want to set the record straight because I got to be honest with you, Governor. I hate what you just experienced, but I'm not going to pretend like this is violence is happening on both sides of the aisle. It's not. We'll be back. You're listening to the Carl Jackson Show, guys. Just a quick reminder that you can follow me on all things social media again at the Carl Jackson Show. At Carl Jackson Show is where you can go to find me. I'm on X, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on Facebook. Also, please subscribe to my podcast, The Carl Jackson Show, Salem Podcast Network, or wherever you go to get your podcast. We're on YouTube, Rumble. Please, if you're on YouTube and Rumble, if you would subscribe, if you would rate, you would review, that would make a big difference. We would certainly appreciate that. And just real quickly, before we get back to the violence that the left has perpetrated on perpetrating on, frankly, on Americans, on frankly on anyone that disagrees with them. I want to talk to you about My Pillow. Hopefully, Governor Josh Shapiro has My Pillow because it sounds like his family needs several good nights of rest. So, My Pillow is excited to announce that they are extending the mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. This is your chance to grab incredible deals on some of My Pillow's most popular and newly released items. For example, you can save $40 on the new spring My Pillow bed sheets, available in any size and any color. These luxurious sheets are designed for maximum comfort and breathability. They're perfect for a great night's sleep. All right. Plus, if you're looking for a meaningful gift, you can save 30% right now on the brand new My Crosses, inspired by the one that Mike has worn every day for over 20 years. These beautifully crafted crosses come in both men's and women's designs and are proudly made in the USA. Get the 6-piece bath or kitchen tile sets for just $39.98. Initial quantities are extremely limited, so do not wait. And don't forget the best-selling standard My Pillow, now just $17.98. Listen, I love that My Pillow. I don't know why they call it the standard My Pillow. It should be the bomb.com My Pillow or something. Plus orders over $75 ship for free. Go to mypillow.com. Use the promo code Carl, Carl. I don't spell it like the communists, or call 800-858-0263 to order now. Okay, let's get back to this Josh Shapiro clip. And then I want to talk to you about Bukele. I love what happened in the White House today with Bukele. We got more on tariffs that I want to get to as well. But let's wrap up that clip with Governor Josh Shapiro. And as much as I am saddened to see what happened to Governor Josh Shapiro, and if you guys haven't seen the pictures of online of how much damage has been done to the governor's mansion in Pennsylvania, it's absolutely insane. But I don't want to make any bones about it. Violence isn't coming from the right. The left is so happy to have this narrative of J6, and remember, they had to make it all theatrical, music in the background, and all this kind of stuff to pretend as if Republicans are always violent. Now, I'm not sitting here and saying that there weren't some people that got out of hand rioting that day, but it was a mostly peaceful protest, and as funny as that may sound, I really do believe it is. That's what the left would say. It's a play on words. Whenever the left was talking about violence, BLM riots, Antifa riots, mostly peaceful protests as cars were burning in the background, these people literally had to set up conservatives, draw them in. You had FBI undercovers on the premise, trying to coax people in to doing something absolutely insane, something that is out of their character. They arrested thousands of Americans that were there, many that weren't even in the buildings, but in the surrounding area. Brandon Straka, who was on film outside in the exterior just filming, and they said he was inciting stuff, tried to ruin his life. He fell into a deep depression, doggone near suicidal. This is what the left does. But they had to make up a narrative in order to escape their realism, which were BLM riots, which were Antifa riots, so that they could crack down on those of us that believe in freedom, those of us that are patriots. Let's go back to this Josh Shapiro. Let's wrap this video up, please, Gabe.
That room last night, hear me on this. We celebrated our faith last night proudly, and in a few hours we will celebrate our second Seder of Passover again proudly. No one will deter me or my family or any Pennsylvanian from celebrating their faith openly and proudly.
Okay, so again, that's Governor Josh Shapiro. But the only thing that I would contend with is let's stop pretending like violence is on both sides of the aisle. It's not. Maybe there's a loony bin out there here and there. There's no doubt about it, where sometimes you can't tell if it's politically motivated or if they're straight up nuts. I go back to Gabby Gifford, the former representative of Arizona. Her husband now is now the senator of Arizona, where that nut job shot her in the head, and he was just a loose cannon. I mean, he was just absolutely insane in how he got his hands on a gun. I do not recall, but absolutely insane. And there are going to be cases like that. But when it comes to this political violence, overwhelmingly, it's people from the left because that's what they know how to do. That's all they know how to do. That's what they're doubling down on because they have no solutions. They want to talk to you about tariffs and how Trump is destroying the economy. Yet they had a corpse basically in the White House for nearly 4 years. Spent money like it was going out of style. They bashed Doge, Elon Musk, and Doge. They set some of his Tesla cars on fire at dealerships and all this kind of nonsense. This is the party of violence. And guys, I just want to be emphatically clear, and I've said this time and time again. Violence is not going to cease with the left. It's going to increase, as a matter of fact, because this is all they know. And you think Bernie Sanders is going to stop them? You think AOC is going to stop them? No, AOC and Bernie Sanders with their millionaires and billionaires. Now it's all billionaires because Bernie Sanders is a millionaire. Who gives a flip if a billionaire gets rich? As long as they're not taking from me. As long as they're not stopping me. I'm not into envy. That's a sin. It's just insane. It's insane where we are. But we got to stop pretending like it's violence that's coming. No, like it's violence coming from the left. You know, one of the things that Bill Maher said, we didn't take a longer clip, but in a longer clip, I would encourage you to watch it. Of Bill Maher. One of the things that he said is he felt more comfortable talking to Donald Trump, President Trump, than he would have President Obama, Kamala, President Clinton, anybody on the left. Because although they didn't agree on some things, he was agreeable. He was likable. He wasn't this caricature that the left portrays him as. And they know this because so many of them used to be his friend. But now that he's a Republican, and not just a Republican, now that he's doing damage to their brand, oh man, they got to destroy him. They got to crush him. They can't allow an outsider to come in and destroy all of the corruption that they put into place. Look at Elon Musk. Elon Musk is literally saving institutions within the government, exposing Social Security fraud. And people are talking about, oh, he's going to take Social Security away. You have to be so dumb to think like that when the guy is finding the waste, the fraud, and the abuse. But this is where we're at. Let me give you some good news. Hat tip, Epic Times. The U.S. strips benefits from thousands of criminal aliens, those that were on the terror watch list as well. And then I want to go to Bukele. So here's the summary. The Trump administration has ended temporary immigration parole and revoked federal benefits for thousands of foreign nationals that flagged as national security risk. Let me read that again. The Trump administration ended temporary immigration parole and revoked federal benefits for thousands of foreign nationals that were flagged as national security risk. So not only did they get immigration parole, some criminals, you guys got to pay for their benefits. How do you feel about that? All the while, the Biden administration, aka Autopin, knew that they were national security risks, and they didn't even care. I can't even fathom what type of demonic mind. That's the only thing that I can think of that would knowingly allow illegals into a country that pose a national security risk, and you're willing to give them federal benefits as well. What Trump is doing is part of a broader effort to roll back immigration programs implemented under Biden. Thank God. According to the White House, more than 6,300 individuals who were paroled into the United States during or after 2023 were identified as having criminal records or were listed in the FBI's terrorist screening database. So thank God their parole was terminated beginning April 8th. But these people were screened in the FBI's terrorist database. Ooh, and I got a story, another good story on the FBI. I'll share with you in our next block. So these legals will no longer get SSI checks. That's good news. That's good news. As part of the enforcement action, the Social Security Administration reclassified those individuals' Social Security numbers into its ineligible master file. So these people come here, they get parole, right? And they get Social Security benefits. They get a Social Security number. This is insane. But now they're in the ineligible master file, is what it's called. So that's a restricted database that prevents improper payment of federal benefits. It was formerly known as the death master file. Now the system is used to ensure that only lawfully eligible individuals can access programs like Social Security, Medicaid, so on, etc. Now, immigration parole, here's what it does. This is how it's defined. It allows certain non-citizens to temporarily enter and remain inside of the United States, during which they may receive work authorization, Social Security numbers if granted parole for more than 1 year. So the White House Assistant Press Secretary Liz Huston said that the action fulfills Trump's campaign pledge to enforce immigration laws more strictly. President Trump, Huston says, promised mass deportations, and by removing the monetary incentive for illegal aliens to come and stay, we will encourage them to self-deport. Huston said in an email, he's delivering on his promise he made to the American people. This is good news. All right, here's a partial DHS memo. The policy change follows a March 25 notice in the Federal Register from the Department of Homeland Security, formally ending the CHNV parole programs. Those programs created in 2022 and 2023, so they were newly created under the Autopin administration, allowed approximately 500,000 citizens from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela, along with their immediate family members, to request authorization to enter the United States and apply for parole under categorical criteria. Now, Trump had another victory, even though it didn't come from the courts, and it shouldn't have come from the courts because the courts have no authority to direct Trump's foreign policy. But Bukele, the president of El Salvador, has just set the Supreme Court of the United States straight, and we'll hear that next. You guys stay tuned. All right, guys. Again, you're listening to the Carl Jackson Show, your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion and lies. Gabe, help me find that video, por favor. You can find me on all things social media at Carl Jackson Show. At the Carl Jackson Show is where you can go to find me. I'm on X. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook as well. I'm looking for Bukele. Also, please subscribe to the podcast, Salem Podcast Network, Trump at UFC. I love this. Yeah, Salem Podcast Network, YouTube or Rumble. You can find us. You can find me there. I'm sorry, I'm looking through these clips and I'm looking at clips of Trump at UFC, and I just think I think it's so cool. Thank you, Gabe. I think it's so cool. Okay. All right. Let's go right back to it. All right. You're listening to the Carl Jackson Show. I want to play cut 18. This is what Bukele had to say. And then I'm going to circle back around to these criminal illegal aliens where the U.S., thank God, has now stripped them of their benefits. Thousands of criminal aliens were stripped of their benefits thanks to the Trump administration. People that were literally on the FBI's terrorist screening database were given federal benefits, Social Security numbers under the Biden administration. And then you have this you have this what's his name? That the left is, I mean, they're in love with Luigi Mangione, right? The guy that murdered Brian Thompson in cold blood in New York City. And then they have this guy. Where is he at? Where is he at? This MS-13 gang member. What is his name? Oh, and the left is making a big. I didn't even care about his name. His picture has been shown all over social media. He seems like such a lovable, huggable guy. He looks like Gabe. Like you wouldn't want to. If you see Gabe, you want to walk up to Gabe and you just want to give him a warm hug. That's the picture. What does he have? Okay, I don't think he does. The picture that they show Gabe, he doesn't. He actually looks like another one of my boys, to be frank with you. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a citizen of El Salvador. A citizen of El Salvador. Now, I don't know if you guys heard the news, but it came out today that apparently it was somebody within, I think it was within the FBI that basically lied and said that Trump had wrongly put this guy on the plane to El Salvador when that couldn't have been further from the truth. So they fired that guy that did that. But here's cut number 18. This is Bukele and his response to, what's her name of CNN? Oh, I forget her name. Caitlin something of CNN. Cut number 18, please, Gabe.
And we're very eager to help. We know that you have a crime problem, a terrorism problem that you need help with. And we're a small country, but if we can help, we will do it. And we actually turned the murder capital of the world, that was the journalists call it, right? Murder capital of the world, into the safest country in the Western Hemisphere. And, sometimes they say that we imprison thousands. I like to say that we actually liberated millions. So,
That's very good. Who gave him that line? Do you think I can use that?
And in fact, Mr. President, you have 350 million people to liberate.
Yeah.
But to liberate 350 million people, you have to imprison some. That's the way it works, right? You cannot just, free the criminals and think crime is going to go down magically. You have to imprison them so you can liberate 350 million Americans that are asking for the end of crime and the end of terrorism. And it can be done. I mean, you're doing it already. And I'm sure that people have seen the change in the streets. A long way to go because you're just initiating your second term. But it's clear that, with the numbers at the border, even in Democrat-run cities, they get a help from the work you're doing. So I'm really happy to be here, honored, and eager to help.
All right, that wasn't the clip I was looking for, unfortunately, but still, it still is a good one. But basically, Bukele went back and forth. I think her name is Caitlin Collins, if I'm not mistaken, from CNN, and they were asking him specifically, was he going to send this criminal back? And he was like, why would I do that? How can I do that? Are you telling me you want me, basically, I'm paraphrasing here, since we don't have the video, you want me to smuggle a terrorist back into the United States? I'm not going to do that. Now, you have a federal district judge that is saying, hey, listen, we want daily updates on what this criminal Kilmar Abrego Garcia is doing. We want to know what he's up to, what you guys are doing to bring the process back. We want to know what's going on. And there you get an answer. You have a president in Bukele that says, hey, listen, no, I'm not bringing them back. What is the Supreme Court going to do? What are these people going to do? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. There's nothing that they can do. And criminals need to stay there. Criminals need to stay exactly where they are. Criminals need to stay exactly where they are. And that's exactly what's happening. Good for Bukele. Good for President Donald Trump. This is absolutely insane. And the nonsense has got to stop. How do you get rid of crime? You don't get rid of crime by inviting criminals back into your country. I'm sorry, I'm hearing some knocks outside of the studio here. But anyway, we'll keep rolling here to finish up this break. I mean, it's just insane. How do you stop crime if you don't get rid of criminals? Let me bring you another story real quick. Gabe, how much time do we have? Okay. So here's the deal. Let me share with you another story just real quick here. This is from a senior FBI official. This is on, oh boy, here we go. This is from the Daily Fetched. So, senior FBI official tied to FISA abuse and Hunter Biden cover up has been suspended. All right. So, a senior FBI analyst and key figure in the Russia collusion hoax against President Trump has been placed on administrative leave following growing scrutiny of his conduct in multiple cases. Brian Alton, you guys might remember that name, who was suspended under the leadership of FBI Director Kash Patel, played a central role in the FBI's counterintelligence crossfire hurricane investigation into the Trump campaign and Russia during the 2016 presidential election. He gone. And he should be. I don't, in my opinion, this guy's a criminal. He shouldn't just be laid off. He should be concerned about whether or not he's going to be prosecuted. And frankly, he needs to be prosecuted. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. The investigation was based on the now debunked Steele dossier from British M16 spy Christopher Steele. Alton failed to inform the FBI leadership about significant inaccuracies in the dossier while pushing for the approval of FISA warrants, which targeted Trump campaign advisor Carter Page. This guy was part of the setup. And now you've got the left trying to, oh, what are they doing? I thought there was no enemies list. Enemies list. This isn't an enemies list. This is accountability. This is I mean, this is just accountability. Alton's actions resulted in internal reviews, which found serious errors in the FBI's FISA applications. Despite the findings, he remained in a senior analytical position within the Bureau. Alton caused controversy in 2020 after whistleblowers accused him of authoring an internal FBI assessment that labeled material related to Hunter Biden as Russian disinformation. This is good news. This is good news. The report helped drive the decision to halt further investigation into the Biden family's overseas business dealings just weeks before the presidential election. Alton continued to participate in sensitive FBI operations despite being under internal investigation for his role in the FISA matter. See, this is what the left doesn't want or wants to distract you from, but it's not working. It's not working. People are not going to be excited about, I don't think, about Bernie Sanders and AOC rallies across the country. Yeah, you're going to have some lefties that are going to show up, that are going to participate. But this is the reason why they have to have these rallies in blue cities. Do you think these people are going to go to parts of Florida? Do you think these people, well, some parts are very liberal. So Orlando, Miami, okay, maybe. But there's a lot of red area in Florida. You think these people are going to go to Idaho, you know what I mean, and have these type of rallies? Do you think these people are going to go to swing areas even and have these type of rallies? And then you have Governor Whitmer out there just still too afraid to show her face around Trump. She's doing her work as a governor. She needs some help in Michigan, but she doesn't want to be. This is proof that the left has co-opted that party. And Governor Whitmer, by the way, she's not a good governor. She was a horrible governor under COVID. She was a little wannabe dictator. But nonetheless, she's embarrassed. She's scared to be seen with Trump because they're scared of what it may mean in 2028. The left is incapable of learning lessons because they're on the left. All they're doing is doubling down on what they know. She was in the White House hiding her face. A lot of people are making news about Katy Perry and a lot of these ladies that went up to space on Blue Origins. I guess that was today or yesterday or whatever. And honestly, man, I don't know. These stories are fun, but they're such a distraction. They're such a distraction. The truth of the matter is Trump is doing a lot to save this country. I'm so thankful that he's in. We do have to hold Republicans' feet to the fire. You have these tariffs that I think are going to be beneficial to the United States. China is going back and forth with us as far as these tariffs are concerned. I wanted to bring you a story on that, but I'll have to do it tomorrow. But we'll follow up with this. The tariffs aren't going anywhere. They're being slowly implemented. You've got 15, I believe, countries that have already come to the table with deals. So it's a matter of ironing out those deals. And then ultimately, I think this will be for the benefit of America. Hopefully, to grow a love and satisfaction for skilled labor again. This is the Carl Jackson Show. Until next time, don't grow weary doing good. Yeah, I can take some comments. Oh, let me do this. I yes, I do. Let me step out for just a second. Can I do that? I'll be right back with your comments, guys. Give me 30 seconds. Ah, I'm sorry. I know that was ghetto fabulous, but I literally had somebody banging at the door. All right, so let's take a couple of comments here. Hey, who's Ashley? Thank you. I appreciate that. I miss being on there, but hopefully, I didn't. God knows. So hopefully, there come a time where I will be back on there. But I appreciate you being out there and saying that. Oh man, thank you, Gloria. I appreciate that. Hopefully, next time I won't be sweating like a pig for you. It's really hot in this room, so we'll get the AC turned down. But man, I appreciate that. Thank you for spreading the word. We're going to be live Monday through Thursday, 8 to 9. I'm trying to work out this. We'll get better. 8 to 9 is the goal. All right. So Monday through Thursday, and then we will still do a recorded podcast. I'm thinking of like a best of stories during or weekend wrap up or something like that, or maybe guests. And we'll still do some guests, but the many of the guests that we bring on may or may not be live, so we'll put those out too. But the live part will be from 8 to 9 Monday through Thursday. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Okay. Man, that is listen, that is so kind. I absolutely love Dennis. He's actually still working and still has a little ways to go. But I appreciate the kind words. I appreciate the encouragement. Hopefully Salem or another place will make a way for me one day. But right now, it is what it is. So I'll be doing my podcast here live and this pray for another opportunity to open up at Salem. But I love Dennis Prager with all my heart, so I'm just wishing him the best, and I'm looking forward to his return. But I appreciate you saying what you said as well, because honestly, I'd love to be back on. I'd love to be back on radio. So God bless you. Okay. Thank you, Jason. Guys, man, I am so appreciative and humbled by anyone that is watching and following me. I really appreciate that. We're going to try to get better at this. This is new for me too, so we're testing some things. I've not gone live before except on Facebook years ago. But anyway, I'm going to try to bring you a better and better show every night. That is my goal. So anyway, God bless you guys for being out there. Really do appreciate you. And honestly, I am so humbled and honored that you're there. Really am. Oh yeah, and please, 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 please spread the word. One of you already said you would, but if you would spread the word, we would certainly appreciate that. So the Carl Jackson Show live Monday through Thursday, 8 to 9 p.m. And again, we will be putting out other recorded podcasts as well, but we will be live Monday through Thursday, 8 to 9. So God bless you guys. Thank you so much, and don't grow weary doing good. God bless you guys. Thank you. All right.